the rules say cannot be allowed to carry. We must be able to, because a member decides to shout, we must be able to have a conversation and then a ruling from the chairman that we all abide by. I have seen where you have ruled against members here and they have accepted it, even being upset about the ruling, but have accepted it and have continued. And that is how we have to elevate the discourse within the PAAC. That is, I wanted to make that comment.
Thank you. Point noted, and I think it's a good point. Any other business?
I listened to the colleague. I listened to my colleague just make mention of what he thinks is the right way to go forward. But let me add that at no given time, and I would love for the same member to read the ruling as it relates to chairing a meeting, the chairman privileges, and how to chair the meeting, and also the member's privilege. So at no given time, when we sit here and one member asking 4 or 5 questions on a trot, while others sit down wanting to ask a question, is not accepted. Each member should be given the privilege to ask one question and it goes the ring. So let us get that in the space just the same.
I believe Member Clarke is narrowly restraining the focus of this committee with his intemperate interjections, right? I believe that he ought to allow the chairman to adjudicate the meetings and show respect for the other members. I understand that not all of us had the kind of upbringing that would allow us to understand that when others are speaking, you stay quiet and allow them. But respect is something that ought to be given if we expect to receive it. When he narrowly tries to restrain members who are dealing with assets, he talks about infrastructure, assets and how they're efficiently and effectively managed. Infrastructure falls under that, clearly. I think he ought to refresh himself on what the PAAC is about and how it really and truly should help us to get the answers that we all should be seeking on behalf of our constituents. I don't know what his motive is, but ours is clear, to get the answers for the people, and we are acting within the remit of the PAAC. He needs to consult the dictionary.
Heated PAAC showdown. Omar Newell and Neikeshia Burchell versus Humroy Clarke. When a committee that is supposed to hold the government accountable turns into a battlefield because of alleged bias, you know something is wrong. February 25th, 2026. Public Administration and Appropriations Committee meeting, and it was fire. Omar Newell came ready. Neikeshia Burchell, the Queen of the West, did not hold back. And Deputy Speaker Humroy Clarke, under serious pressure over what was described as unfair rulings. Let's talk about it. This is Michy Deck's commentary, where we break down the politics, the drama, and the accountability, without fear or favor. Like, share, subscribe, and let's get into it. The Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC, is not a playground. It is not a partisan rally. It is not a JLP protection chamber. It is a parliamentary oversight body meant to examine how public funds and assets are managed. And on February 25th, things boiled over. Omar Newell came with fire. He challenged what he described as unfair rulings from Deputy Speaker Humroy Clarke. Rulings that appeared to lean heavily in favor of JLP members while shutting down contributions from the PNP side. And that is where the tension exploded. Because when opposition members are questioning how assets are managed, infrastructure, public spending, accountability, that falls squarely within the remit of the PAAC. You cannot narrow the scope when the questions get uncomfortable. You cannot selectively silence members when the heat turns up.
And we have not, I have not certainly as chairman received any plausible explanation why we're in this position today. Member Burchell, you're...
No, I'm very surprised to hear that, Chairman, but I'm wondering if there's a bigger issue that's happening and something that the PAAC may want to look in. I'm aware of a number of persons who got some work through the government over the December period through the NSWMA, supported by the SDC, and a large number of them still have not been paid. They call the MP's office, I'm sure all the other MPs can attest, and they have not been paid. These are laborers who can't afford to take on this debt. What then is the problem why we have persons
Well, I don't want to conflate the two issues. I don't think this
But is
this
the
has
payment
anything
thing
to do with
a
that.
big issue across sector? What is going on? Is something happening?
No,
and
I
is it
don't-
something that we need to bring to the PAAC?
No, I don't want to conflate the two. I'm not saying that that may not be a concern, but I don't want to conflate. I'm talking about this issue that I'm raising now has to do with the administration of this committee and the effective running of this committee. And I don't want to get into a general cash flow problem with any agency outside of Parliament. This is a issue to do with Parliament, and we are all affected by this. And I want us to focus on this issue now. We can take your concern on the AOB, but I don't want to conflate the two issues. Mr. Hines?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, could you get some protection from Mr. Clarke, please? Thank you. I have not spoken as yet.
Mr. Clarke,
I want an opportunity
you
to
haven't
speak.
heard what Mr. Hines said.
But I have not started to ask any questions yet. But I am Chairman. I'm giving me
you
the
are not
privilege.
even
You are not on the floor.
recognized, Mr. Clarke.
You are not on the floor. He did.
He did.
He did.
I did.
He did.
Mr. Clarke, her mic was...
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. The increasing of your volume does not make you correct. Mr. Chairman, I am saying...
Mr. Clarke, please,
increasing your decibel does not make you correct. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I am asking. You have said that
Mr. Hines, ignore Mr. Clarke and just make your contribution.
Yes, you have said that the technical...
No, we cannot allow
The technical advisor submitted.
No, Mr. Clarke, please.
You cannot do that every meeting.
Because
you're doing something that is wrong. You are not the principal here. You are
But Mr. Clarke, Mr. Clarke, could you allow me to chair the meeting? I brought to the members' attention that was not related to the point, right? So please just allow me to chair the meeting. Allow me to chair the meeting. All right. Mr. Hines is on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No thanks, Mr. Clarke. Mr. Chairman, you mentioned the technical advisor's submission of his invoices. Were those invoices approved? And is there a greater issue with the nature of the invoice, or is it that there's an issue with payment in itself? Is the work not satisfactory? I just want to know, because I don't want to say that he has not been paid as if it is an automatic process where you just submit and you're paid.
He has followed the same process that he has been following for over a decade that he has been, or however many years he has been engaged to the committee. I have been copied on some of the correspondence in frustration. As I said, I have asked our representative on the House Committee and at the PAC. I didn't want to necessarily raise this publicly, but I have no choice now because it will affect the operation of this committee.
Can we ask
somebody here?
I would just want to ask if the clerk of the House could be present to give us some more guidance.
Well, I see somebody's light on here. Let me see if.
Okay.
one of the legal counsels.
Pleasant afternoon, everyone. My name is Ms. Ashley Zemenes. I'm the Legislative Counsel here at the Houses of Parliament. On this matter, I'm sorry.
You'll have to speak a little louder. The mask is muffling your
Understood, Mr. Chair. My name is Ms. Ashley Zemenes. I'm the Legislative Counsel here at the Houses of Parliament. On the matter raised by yourself, Mr. Chair, I can provide an update. That being that the House Leader is aware of the situation, and we have had consultation with Mr. Robinson, who is the Chair of PAAC. The update is further that there were 2 invoices in question, one in December and one in January. The invoice for December has been settled. There was an issue with the invoice that was submitted in January, and he was asked up to last evening to resubmit that invoice for January so that same can be vetted and settled. So the matter is under control, and the clerk has it as a part of her priority to have it addressed at the soonest. But I did receive word that the House Leader and Mr. Robinson is aware, and I believe that you can expect an email from the clerk advising you of the progress. But just for the purposes of this committee meeting, and given that it has been raised at this level, we can advise that yes, one of the invoices has been settled, that is the one for December, and the one for January has to be resubmitted for vetting and settling. Thank you.
Mr. Newell?
Thank you, Chairman. From my understanding, what is the role of the PAAC in this? Is he also a consultant to the PAAC?
No, the PAAC last week was hearing matters, it was last meeting was hearing matters related to a report from the Auditor General. We can now move to item 8, EOB. Mr. Newell?
Thank you, Chairman. Just in terms of the running of the committee, Chairman, it is unfortunate that I'm going to say this, but I think we need to get some understanding of the role of the chairman vis-a-vis the members, and that we can't just bully and shout out to get our own way. That is one. The second thing, I think there's a misunderstanding of 73A, subsection C, which is one of the rules of the committee, which is to inquire into the administration of the government to determine hindrances to efficiency and making recommendations to government for the improvement of public administration. Meaning, it is not just a committee that looks at the finances and things that are in the budget, but the committee has the remit and the authority to look at matters affecting efficiency. And if a member raises a point, I think as a chairman, if there's an objection, then it's up to the member to point out whether it fits in point A, B, or C. It can't be that members just say, this is the rule and it can't work. And one opinion of what the rules say cannot be allowed to carry. We must be able to, because a member decides to shout, we must be able to have a conversation and then a ruling from the chairman that we all abide by. I have seen where you have ruled against members here and they have accepted it, even being upset about the ruling, but have accepted it and have continued. And that is how we have to elevate the discourse within the PAAC. That is, I wanted to make that comment.
Thank you. Point noted, and I think it's a good point. Any other business?
I listened to the colleague. I listened to my colleague just make mention of what he thinks is the right way to go forward. But let me add that at no given time, and I would love for the same member to read the ruling as it relates to chairing a meeting, the chairman privileges, and how to chair the meeting, and also the member's privilege. So at no given time, when we sit here and one member asking 4 or 5 questions on a track, while others sit down wanting to ask a question, is not accepted. Each member should be given the privilege to ask one question and it goes the ring. So let us get that in the space just the same. What I want to also understand, to get us to understand, is that PAAC is account and appropriation. When we ask certain questions and you, the chairman, will afford the privilege.
Yes, administration.
Administration, sorry.
Where you are,
That's okay. Administration and appropriation. Fine. So even when we start to ask certain questions where accounting is concerned, we must be mindful. Also, the infrastructural part of it that we get into, sometimes it is not here. And I said it today, let us focus on what PAAC is supposed to do and not what we think in our mind that we want to ask the technocrats that are sitting across from us.
Right, but the point that I think Mr. Newell was making is that we're not restricted only to appropriations.
And if we do that, if we don't maintain focus, we are not restricted, but if we don't maintain focus, Mr. Chairman, it is going to take us into a realm that does it. For example, my colleague, when she went out to speak on the matter of STC, it has nothing, it is not before us.
No, you don't. Please say please.
Yeah, anyway, there I see other hands, Ms. Burchell.
Then came the Queen of the West, Neikeshia Burchell, calm, measured, but firm. She pointed out that Minister Clarke was narrowing his intemperate interjections and should allow the chairman to adjudicate the meetings. She made it clear, respect in Parliament is not optional. When someone is speaking, you allow them to finish. If we expect respect, we must give respect. And that statement, that landed. She further emphasized that matters dealing with assets and infrastructure absolutely fall within the PAENEC's mandate. In other words, know the committee's purpose before you attempt to limit its work.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say that my understanding of the role of the PAAC, the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, is to examine whether public bodies are managing public funds, programs, effectively and in a way that delivers value for money to the country. I believe Member Clarke is narrowly restraining the focus of this committee with his intemperate interjections, right? I believe that he ought to allow the chairman to adjudicate the meetings and show respect for the other members. I understand that not all of us had the kind of upbringing that would allow us to understand that when others are speaking, you stay quiet and allow them. But respect is something that ought to be given if we expect to receive it.
Then came the line that had the room buzzing. She said she does not know what Humroy Clarke's motives are, but theirs are clear: to get answers for the people. That is what oversight is about. That is what representation is about. And then she delivered the shutdown moment. He may need to consult his dictionary. Translation? Understand the meaning of adjudication. Understand the meaning of remit. Understand the meaning of accountability. Because the Jamaican people are watching, this was not noise. This was not drama for drama's sake. This was elected representatives pushing for answers on behalf of their constituencies.
When he narrowly tries to restrain members who are dealing with assets, he talks about infrastructure, assets and how they're efficiently and effectively managed. Infrastructure falls under that, clearly. I think he ought to refresh himself on what the PAAC is about and how it really and truly should help us to get the answers that we all should be seeking on behalf of our constituents. I don't know what his motive is, but ours is clear: to get the answers for the people, and we are acting within the remit of the PAAC. He needs to consult the dictionary.
Yeah, and when you're making when we're dealing with an issue like Hurricane Melissa recovery, it is obvious it's going to overlap other committees, all right? it will overlap other committees. So, Mr. Newell?
Rule, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. I know that the member knows the appropriate name of the committee. I think it is also appropriate. I think it is also appropriate to just remind, and Member Burchell mentioned a refresher. So I just want, if I'm allowed, I would love to quickly read 73A, Chairman.
Go ahead.
And it says, the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee shall have the duty of A, examining budgetary expenditure of government agencies and other public bodies to ensure that expenditure is done in accordance with parliamentary approval. B, monitoring expenditure as it occurs and keeping the parliament informed of how the budget is being implemented. And C, inquiring into the administration of the government to determine hindrances to efficiency and making recommendations to the government for the improvement of public administration. Chairman, I think just out of respect, if a member is going to make a point that the rules are not being adhered to, the member owes the committee the respect of at least pointing out the rules and telling how it doesn't adhere, as opposed to continuing to perpetuate the view, Chairman, that the public has, that we're not serious about business in Parliament and we're just making noise and we're just a rude bunch and we're just reinforcing the idea that crassness and crudeness and rudeness is the way to have your way. It can't be like that, Chairman.
Mr. Clarke, when you are in the Speaker's chair, you do not appreciate members behaving how you are behaving today. So please. No. Please. So I think it has been useful to remind ourselves of the remit of this committee, the fact is it's a very wide remit, and I try to allow members leeway, unless it is, in my judgment, you're taking it a bit too far. But let's try and operate in as collaborative, as collegial, and as cohesive a way as possible on the committee. We're all here with the same objective, which is to serve the interests of the people of Jamaica.
And when oversight feels obstructed, tempers will flare. But here's the bigger issue. If PAAC cannot freely question how assets are managed, if infrastructure concerns are ruled out of scope, if opposition voices are consistently curtailed, then who speaks for the taxpayers? Never a dull moment in Jamaican politics. But oversight committees must remain neutral. They must remain fair. They must remain credible. Because credibility is everything in governance. And that's my take. Let me know in the comments. Was this proper enforcement of rules? Or was it bias in plain sight? This is Michy Deck's commentary. Like, share, subscribe. And remember, accountability is not disrespect. Oversight is not hostility. And representation is not optional. Walk good, Jamaica.